My name is Kjell. Full name Kjell Inge, but that's when I'm traveling abroad, I just use Kjell. That's a lot easier. That's hard enough. My English wife's family are still struggling with my name after 20 years. So I'm going to present you with a few different chocolates from a variety of Nordic chocolate makers. And I'm looking forward to how this is going to go. The Nordics are known for many things. When it comes to food and flavor, there was a big shift in the early 2000s, starting with a group of chefs, food influencers, no, they weren't food influencers back then, but food connoisseurs, people in the business, to try to define what's like the Nordic flavor, what's typical of Nordic, and what do we want the typical Nordic flavors to be. And one of the first things they said, they want to express the purity, the freshness, the simplicity and ethics that we want to associate to our region. Very up there words, but at the same time, these words and this way of thinking has also influenced chocolate makers. It resonates well with bean-to-bar makers, and especially in Norway, we eat a lot of chocolate. So on average, each Norwegian eats about 9 kilo chocolates a year. The Danes are second. The Swedes are very big in sweet things. They're also extremely big, both the Danes and the Swedes, in licorice. So we're going to have a little bit of everything here today. Emily's here to help me pass out the chocolates. We're probably, I mean, the space to up to 50 people here, so there's plenty of chocolate. Nothing to worry about there. And I think we have enough time that we just pass around the bowl for each one. Does this, yeah. So the overview of what we're gonna do is we're gonna taste 6 different chocolates. We're gonna start with the chocolate that brought me here to Rushville. Early 2023, I sent in one of my chocolates to Dustin, who runs the chocolate cafe here. He also has a chocolate competition. And I sent in the first bar I ever made, like after I started the company. And it did really well. So I won a silver medal in the category of dark chocolate. And then last year, when he started the festival, Dustin invited all the previous winners and participants of his competition to come join us. And due to surprisingly reasonable flights to Chicago, I decided to go last year, and it was such a big success. It was such a nice place to be. The festival is extremely well organized. Take care of us as vendors. I was lucky enough last year as well to be part of the homestay program. So as a vendor, to come to a place and then actually stay with the local family, you learn so much more about where you are than if you stay in a hotel. And yeah. It was very easy to say yes to come back this year. So that's the first chocolate. Don't start tasting it yet. Just going through, but we're going to start pass it out. We're going to very soon get a chocolate. Then we're going to go to a very special Norwegian thing, a brown cheese. In Norway, brown cheese is like one of the most important food we have. Traditionally, back in the old times, it was made both of goat's milk and cow's milk. The cow milk is a lot milder in flavor. The goat's milk is a lot stronger. Fjords chocolate, which is a very well-known Norwegian bean-to-bar maker, they make a fantastic milk chocolate with goat's milk cheese. So that will be our second. We're going to Denmark to a crazy Dane who experiments together with the farmers. I'm going to say more of the bar when we get to them, I think. We're going to try Norwegian raspberries. There's a reasonably new maker who has made technically we can't call it a raspberry chocolate, but it's dried raspberry, cocoa butter and sugar, and that's it. And it's like putting a fresh raspberry in your mouth. It's just really amazing. And then we're going to pop over to Sweden. I mentioned Swedes and the licorice, so we're going to do a dark chocolate with licorice. And then we're going to finish with another one of my chocolates. Norwegians eat a lot of chocolate. We also drink massive amounts of coffee. And there's also like the Nordic way of roasting coffee, which is like super light. Again, a lot of parallels to the bean to bar way of thinking. So you keep all the nice, subtle flavors in the coffee. So I'll come back to the specific coffee when we get to the chocolate.
I'm going to just keep going?
No, we can wait, because I think we're going to have enough time to just do it as we go.
We just got all these passed out?
Yeah. So the first one, Mana 70. It's a plain dark chocolate, 70%, made with Mana cacao beans from the Philippines. Organic, 100% organic. And again, it's one of my favorite beans to work with. One, because of the flavor and the nuances. It's like you get so many different flavor experiences when you eat this chocolate. And also the beans themselves, when we get them, they are super clean, super well sorted, so they're so easy to just start roasting and make the chocolate. The flavor, again, before I continue, if there's any questions or any comments, yeah, thank you. So,
eat it right when we get it so it doesn't melt, or do you want us to wait?
just start eating it. Yeah. And again, when it comes to flavor, it's very, even though I've been practicing for years now, I'm quite bad when it comes to experience flavors. Because if somebody gives me a piece of dark chocolate and say, oh, this is really like lemony, I will taste lemon. If they give me the same chocolate and say, this is really like earthy or nutty or whatever, I will taste that. So my brain is not trained enough to trust my own flavor experience. So I'm kind of, in one way, don't want to give you what you're supposed to taste. But at the same time, it's quite helpful sometimes. The main important thing when you taste chocolate is that you taste what you taste. So again, if I just had a chili, I will taste the same chocolate very different than if you were eating porridge. If I've been drinking coffee all day and other people only been drinking water all day, you will experience the flavor different. So when you're at a chocolate tasting, there's never a wrong flavor. Whatever you taste is correct for you, and that's very important for me to say, because I mean, I don't like it when people say you should taste this, and if you don't, you're wrong. That's certainly not how I work. So, does anyone? You got it. Excellent, excellent. So this one, maybe you experienced some cherry, some fruitiness. Maybe you experienced some nuttiness. Maybe some floral notes, or anything else. Has many of you been to a chocolate tasting before? Yeah. Some of you have, some of you haven't. So, again, when we taste chocolate, make sure to let it melt in your mouth. You might chew it a bit to help it melt. Breathe. Make sure that you take time to kind of process all the different nuances of the chocolate. So I think we're going to try to do it a little bit quick. My problem, it's a standing joke in Norway. If you lived in a city called Bergen, the people from Bergen, they just talk non-stop. I lived there for 10 years, I'm a bit influenced. So, and especially when I start talking about chocolate, it's hard to stop. But we're going to continue to the next one. Very different chocolate. I should have brought my glasses. A milk chocolate. Fjords, which is like the most famous bean to bar maker in Norway. Their brown cheese bar is really trying to catch basically what I said earlier about like the Norwegian brown cheese. For me, growing up, my mother was baking bread, my grandmothers were baking bread, and the best thing I could have as a child was freshly made bread, lots of butter, and then brown cheese on top. That was like heaven on earth for a little child. We did get chocolate on a Saturday, but like bread, butter, and cheese you could have all week, and that was like it's quite sweet cheese. A lot of people from other countries, when they try that cheese, they don't understand. They don't even want to call it a cheese because it's so different from any other type of cheese you've probably had. So I'm going to have a quick bite of this myself.
It's not Saturday.
I'm old enough to decide. So with this one, you can definitely taste, this is the goat's milk brown cheese. So it's a lot more flavor to it. If you're used to eating goat's cheese, you probably will recognize the I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a certain flavor with goat's cheese.
Sourness. There's a little
Bit of sourness, yeah.
There's sort of like a granular texture. What would that be?
So that's actually the cheese. So they made like a brown cheese crumble, which is inside the chocolate. So it might change depending on what piece you get, but I think it should be in most pieces. Some of that like almost like a crumble topping almost, but that's then not caramelized, but like crystallized brown cheese almost. So that's the Norwegian brown cheese. I forgot to bring my water bottle.
Do you want me to go get one?
Can you,
Yeah,
please? Thank you.
absolutely.
And then we're on. Let me know if things are going too fast or too slow, or if I speak mumble or whatever I do. The next one, I just need to talk a little bit about this before we start. There's a Danish chocolate maker, Frisholm, thank you, who is known for doing very technical, not advanced, but like very controlled chocolate. He works with different farmers. And the one we're going to try here is, so again, being maybe a bit over optimistic, I thought we would have a full room. So I broke up these two bars and they're both on that plate. So I should have separated them so you could have one of each. But I didn't think I had enough to. But anyway, what you will taste now is another 70%. Chuno is the cacao. And what Mikkel did with the farmers, so when you harvest the cacao, you start fermenting the cacao beans or the cacao seeds and the pulp, the fruit flesh, in big wooden crates or wooden boxes. It'll then stay in those boxes for 3 to 6 days maybe, and you have to turn the beans to make sure you get like an even fermentation. With this one, on the same harvest, they put the cacao in 2 different boxes, and one box was turned twice over the course of 5 or 6 days, and the other one was turned 3 times. That's the only difference. And then they were dried the same way. They were made in the same machines, same recipe, same technique in Denmark. And when you taste the 2 different ones, it's almost, your mind kind of can't process that like such a small change in the ferment makes such a big difference in the chocolate.
Details, come on.
Oh,
Make me stand up and talk.
are you ready? So I'm terrible with names. So you have,
My name's Kurt. I'm from Colorado.
yeah.
I've done tastings in a room of this.
Yes.
I had everybody taste it. And so when you have a box of beans, the middle of the box of beans ferments and gets rid of sort of astringency. And then when you turn it, you take the boxes, the beans from the edge that don't get as hot and they haven't fermented. And so that reduces the astringency of the bean. When you turn it twice, you sort of don't process it as well as if you turn it 3 times. That third turn gets rid of almost all of the astringency in the bar and some of the acidity. So if you had the chance to get these 2 bars side by side, one's got just a little bit of acidity and flavor, and the other one is almost perfectly smooth. And about a half of a room of people will go, I love the perfectly smooth one because it's perfectly smooth, and the other half will go, I like the other one because there's just a little bit of acidity and I can identify something. And so that's the difference of these 2, but they're phenomenal to have side by side. They're phenomenal to have either one too.
Yeah, and Frisholm, he's done a few other projects or like test experiments, thank you, like that. The last one I tried was the drying phase. So same beans, same harvest, same ferment, and then fast dried and slow dried. So even that process, again, dried over, is it 2 days, 3 days, and 4, 5, 6 days?
When you fast dry it, if you've seen cocoa nibs, there's little fractures in the beans. When you fast dry it, the outside seals sooner and less acidity gets out. So a fast dried bar will taste a little brighter. He does it with Madagascar, which is the red fruit, which will taste more raspberry-like, and the other one will taste slightly less raspberry-like and more chocolatey, a little smoother. But it's the level of detail Friesholm gets into in his bars.
Yeah. And again, Friesholm, both in his design of his packaging and the details, the way he makes the chocolate, is very, in one way, I can't say it's typical Nordic, but it's a good representation of the way of thinking, like super clean, super small details to enhance certain things in the different ingredients, which in this case, obviously, the cacao beans. Yeah.
So the packaging, the details, what is it it tells us from, does it tell us anything?
So again, yeah, so the front here is basically tune of 70%, triple turned single bean, double turned single bean.
Oh, okay.
So like in the shop, that's what you get. And if you don't get the story, you're thinking, it's like, they're both tune of 70, they must be the same chocolate.
Did you break them slow and fast? Does he do the same checkerboard thing?
He does.
With the blue on the one color on the top and the other color on the bottom?
So you already mentioned the flavor notes in this one, the Madagascar. So obviously it changes the color to fit more with especially the raspberry. And again, if we have time, we're going to do it side by side at the end. That's a big...
The checkerboard, like the visual on
yeah,
the shelf.
yeah. Okay. Did I... There we go. So now I have to mirror the screen again. Yeah. So that was the first one. That was the second one. Should have had these up here, of course. And then, this is how the brown cheese is being served in your home. And of course, we have the Norwegian invention, the cheese slicer, to get like thin. Yeah, that's the brown cheese.
What makes it brown?
So it's basically you boil the milk long enough.
Like caramelizes some of the sugars?
It's almost like that. So it's a very sweet cheese. And that's probably why I love it so much. And then we had the double and triple turned. And the next one is the raspberry. So, yeah. Again, I just started eating this. I had so little of this one, so there's very small pieces, but there's certainly enough to get the flavor. So in Norway, because of the weather, it's cold, even in the summer it's quite cold. So berries take a long time to mature or to ripen. And because of that, they also have a long time to develop flavor. Of course, most people will say that their country's raspberry or strawberry are the best. We say that. The Swedes say that. I guess the Americans probably say that as well. Canadians. But again, we use a lot of raspberry and strawberry, especially in Norway. For jams, for cakes, for chocolate and everything. This chocolate is basically freeze-dried raspberries. It's cocoa butter and a sugar. 3 ingredients. So I mentioned in the start that technically this is not allowed to be called a chocolate. You can make it with the same 3 ingredients and add milk powder, and you get like a white chocolate raspberry, a raspberry white chocolate. Because you add the milk powder, the legal definitions is that you need to have milk powder in a white chocolate. So this kind of chocolate is very often called like a fruit couverture or something like that. But when you have good quality fruit powder and you can make chocolate substance like this, it's amazing. We've used it on. We've made a version of this as well, just to use in different farmers markets, and we do like a cookie with our raspberry chocolate. That's a good way of using that kind of chocolate. This is annoying. Come on. Okay. Quick over to Sweden. Sweden / So Höganäs chocolate is an Ecuadorian couple whose family owns a banana plant, a cocoa plant in Ecuador, and they've been exporting bananas to Sweden for many years. And a few years ago, one of their sons moved to Sweden and started making chocolate with the cacao grown on their farm. I was there. That picture is actually from Sweden. That was a holiday. So they, I mean, all Nordic countries also are crazy about licorice. This chocolate here is a 60% dark chocolate. Their chocolate is, I think I can say, it's not like super fruity like the Friesholm, Madagascar and things like that. It's more like a mellow, honey, soft dark chocolate. 60% is also quite a sweet chocolate. And then they add organic licorice powder, almost like granular. What's the English term for granule? Yeah. And like when you combine those two, you get a good example of how we enjoy licorice and chocolate together. The Höganäs family or company, they also make chocolates for a few other companies, and it's quite a distinct flavor to their cacao beans. So in the bean-to-bar industry, especially if you are big enough, you sometimes start doing something called white labeling. So I'm not at that level yet. I don't have the capacity. But if you do, you might be approached by a company who would like to start selling their own chocolate. So they design fancy packaging, maybe they have some input on recipes, and then another chocolate maker will make the chocolate. And the Höganäs cacao is very particular in the flavors. It's quite easy to recognize their cacao if they made chocolate for someone else. But of course, a lot of this is like secrets, and some people don't, some companies don't tell who's made the chocolate for them. So they kind of make it sound like they've done it themselves, which is not the best way of making any product, I would say. You should be proud of whoever make your product if you don't make it yourself. But Höganäs, they make their own chocolate. They make lots of different ones. They have, this one with licorice is one of my favorites. Okay, maybe we're going too fast here now because we're already at the last one. I think we have time for the Madagascar at the end. So you know what? We're going to do the Madagascar before the coffee one, because that will kind of... but have we got more slow dried? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
About 12. They're hard to break in half.
They are.
Well, have people team up. Maybe they can break the fitting together.
Should give to the cameraman as well.
Yes. Should have the whole time, huh?
Oh, maybe they were a bit too big.
13. Oh, perfect.
So, 2 bars again from Friesholm, Madagascar, very fruity chocolate. We start with the slow dried. Now I'm going to get a little bit of help again. Slow dried means less, more acidity.
More acid can evaporate.
Yes,
Acid.
so less acid in the flavor. It's a 64% dark chocolate, so it's from the start quite a sweet dark chocolate, and made with the Åkesson. These cacao beans are like legendary in this business, and Friesholm been working with them for a long time. So this is then the slow dried. Yeah. That's the
Perfect. I might have taken the last piece. I don't want to mix them up.
Just gonna keep one for myself. And then again, we are eating chocolate. It goes maybe a bit faster, but if you have, make sure you finish the first one before you start the next one. I'm already on it. So fast dried, better explained by our gentleman here than I could do it.
I'm going to taste it and see if my explanation held up.
So to me, it's more, the most important thing is, do you notice anything different with it? For again, like, when you taste chocolate, like I said, there's not really any right or wrong. Of course, most people will feel some kind of fruity berryness with this chocolate. And the main thing is like, okay, can a subtle difference, like the drying time of the beans, make a difference in how you experience the flavor?
More fresh fruity. Fresh fruit.
Again, like we just tasted the raspberry one. To me, this last one here is almost as fruity or almost as raspberry as the plain raspberry one.
Did anybody else get that difference? That the second one was slightly fruitier, or?
Oh, yeah.
I started the second one, yeah.
Good plan. Now we build it.
So again, when it comes to eating chocolate or like tasting chocolate, like we're doing now, we're normally when we do chocolate tastings, we have a lot more time. We might have a little bit of water or something to drink in between, because some of these chocolates are so full of flavors, and like it's not like the flavor goes away after 2 seconds; it stays on. Yeah, and that's also the reason why we're going to finish with my coffee bar. Because if we started with that, the coffee flavor there would have kind of kept on for the next 2 to 3 chocolates, definitely.
I tried. Pinky of the hand, I'm not giving chocolate out.
So in the Nordics, like we're big on coffee. Again, there is a generation difference. My parents' coffee is a lot darker roast than what I prefer. My coffee, some of my former colleagues in my previous job would call like the coffee I drink is like spicy tea, because it's so light and fruity, and like personally, like the Ethiopian light roast coffee is like amazing to me. Nordic roasting style, yeah. And pardon?
Tim Wendelboe?
Not Tim Wendelboe, but very close.
Who's your famous roaster?
Tim is still the most famous coffee roaster. The guy, we have a local coffee roaster where we live who's super well known for doing an amazing job with his coffee. He used to be a wine importer, and like he's all into flavors. And when we started working together because I drink a lot of his coffee. And I said, I want to do a dark chocolate bar with coffee. And we agreed kind of very quick that we want a bar that it's not too overpowering on the coffee, not too overpowering on the chocolate. So the goal was to get a bar where you could definitely taste the chocolate, the flavor of the Madagascar cacao beans, which is already quite berry-like. It's not as much berries as the Friesholm one, but you also should be able to taste the super nice, light, fruity Ethiopian coffee. What I find sometimes in chocolate bars with coffee is that the coffee is so overpowering that you could have just had a cup of coffee almost. So that was our goal with this bar, to merge like the Nordic coffee roasting style and serving and the bean to bar way of doing chocolate. We use from a small farm called Ambo Jimena in Madagascar, organic cacao beans. The coffee is also from a small farm in Ethiopia. The farmer kind of grows his coffee organically, but it's not certified organic because that's too expensive for him. And again, maybe this is a stupid question, but if you were to guess how many percentage coffee is in this bar, what would your wild guess be? 20? 5? 2? You're getting close. 1%. This coffee is so potent in flavor that you hardly need anything in, and there's so much coffee flavor from it in a 75% dark chocolate. So I promised Dustin and Mike out here, who also roasts coffee, that next year, if I'm hopefully coming then as well, I'm going to bring some of that coffee and we're going to make some Norwegian pour over lightly roasted coffee. So that was very quick. The tasting. Already finished. I haven't got my watch on even, so I don't know what time it is. But pardon? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Questions?
Could you go back to the slides that you just zipped on through originally when you found
The early
it?
ones, the first three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that went with each bar,
Yeah.
because those weren't up whenever we tasted the bars.
So will you think this one or the next? No.
That
Yeah.
was up for a long time. But yeah, because it says that it's the winner and
Yeah.
names are from, because I wanted to capture where those are from.
I can also, I mean, the presentation will probably be Barb? Barb? She's too. Are we sharing the presentations?
I'm sorry, what?
Are we sharing the presentations, or is there any way to access the presentations afterwards? Or
Oh, you can, yeah. Yes, the presentations are being placed on the website for
Yeah.
anyone who'd like to access them. I'm not sure when they will be uploaded, but this gentleman to our right is to be given the credit for videoing so that they can be accessed later. So I don't know if that was a question you asked.
excellent, excellent.
So I
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
pictures.
So this was a reasonably quick introduction to some of the best chocolate makers in Scandinavia or Nordic countries. There are a few more. We're not that many, but there are a few more both in Denmark and Sweden and Norway who makes really good chocolate. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you. Yeah, good problem.